Welcome back to Yvonne Winifred Yuji, my beautiful fashionistas. Hope you are doing great. If this is your first time, you are most welcome. So we are using Ankara. I have two pieces, front and back, and they are folded into two. So this larger one is the front and the smaller one is the back. The front is 2 inches larger than the back because we will have button allowances added. So for the back also, it is 4 inches longer than the front. That is because the back is always a little bit folded into the front around the shoulder. So guys, I'm aligning my two pieces together. I want this top part here because I'm going to mark 2 inches off so that I cut out the shoulder, like the shoulder slant, so it will be connecting up to the center back, not the button allowance, guys. Here to the center back, not button allowance. So guys, we are going to just cut this off. That is the shoulder slant. So the length of this shirt is about 29 inches. So now I want this front is now on top. Before, the back was the one on top, and now my front piece is on top. Prior it was the back on top. I think now you understand. So for this front piece, I'm going to mark off 1/2 inch on the shoulder slant that we've marked, or the one that we've cut. I'm marking off 1/2 inch. That is kind of the shoulder joining. So at that line that I've marked, I'm going to bring this back now and make it sit onto this line. So the back is now starting from where that line is. Remember, the line is only on the front piece, and now the back has been, folded onto that line. So now guys, I want to mark my button allowance here so that we are not distracted. We have to put that in mind, that there is a button allowance there of 2 inches. So on top here, I want to input my half shoulder to shoulder measurement, which is 8 inches plus 1/2 inch joining allowance. So I mark it on top there. That is the shoulder measurement, and then I go down by 9 inches, which is half of the armhole measurement, and mark the chest line there. So remember, we have the 2 inches button allowance there. So here I also mark the 8.5 inches shoulder measurement onto this chest line, and then connect a line going down like this. So from the top, I have to mark the midpoint and move in by 1/2 inch because we are going to connect the front armhole and the back armhole. But before that, guys, I'm just going to mark 1/4 of the chest measurement that I'm working with. So the chest measurement, which is the bust measurement when it comes to the ladies, I divide it by 4 and mark it, and then I get my ruler and then start carving out my armhole. So guys, this is what I'm doing for the 1/2 inch inside that I marked. That is the front armhole, and from where the midpoint is, that is for the back. So for the neckline, I'm marking 3 inches in the width, and then for the front depth, first I marked 3 inches, but then I reduced it to 2.5 inches. But afterwards, again, I increased it to match up with the neck measurement that I'm working with. So you have to put that in mind. Whenever you cut out your necklines, connecting them like this, after you take your tape measure and be sure that it is matching up with your neckline measurement. So on top here, this is for the back. I just want to, curve it a little bit, just as you see me doing. That is for the back, remember. You can either just mark it straight away there. So it's there. So guys, to cut, I'm going to cut only onto the top pieces, front piece, and then this folded upper back piece. So this is what I do. I think you're seeing how I lift them up, only the top pieces, and then cut out the armhole also. So I have two pieces, but remember we have button allowance. The front is divided into two like that. And now we can start cutting the sleeves. So I have folded some pieces of fabric here. I want to cut my two sleeves all at once. That's why I folded like that. So guys, the width is the armhole measurement plus the allowance, half of the armhole measurement plus the allowance. And the length I'm marking here is 25 inches, the full length, but since we'll be cutting a cuff, I subtract about 3 inches, and what is remaining is what I mark down here, about 22 inches, then plus the allowances. So I mark off the about 4 inches there. Cups height is chest measurement divided by 12. So guys, I then connect a diagonal line crossing like that and get the midpoint of this diagonal line, and at the midpoint of this diagonal line that I've marked there, I go up by half an inch. I mark a line, kind of like a small line there, and then connect from the edge here to where the half an inch has stopped, and then to the armhole measurement, where we mark the armhole measurement down there. That will be for the back. And then for the front, again I start from the edge here onto the midpoint of the diagonal line, and then from the midpoint I carve out to the armhole measurement. Then down here guys, I just measure around the wrist measurement where the cuff will sit, plus allowance of about 1 inch, so it is about 5.5 inches there. Then connect a line which I later carve in a little bit like that, then cut my sleeve out. So there are two sleeves, so I'll cut the back marking first, just as you've seen, then unfold my two sleeves, and then on one side I just cut out the front marking as we labeled it, like that, up to the midpoint. So here you can notch out your midpoint when you fold them into two, and that is it. So guys, for the yoke, the back yoke, it is just 9 inches. Then it's just kind of like cutting out the facing, but at the hemline here I'll just fold it by half an inch and then top stitch onto the back like that. You just duplicate the neckline and the armholes for the yoke, and it only goes to the back, and you can design it any way you want. So guys, before all that, I want to carve out my hemline, so I mark 1.5 inches and then carve it into the hemline like that. So this curve can a little be tricked out, and it comes out nicely. So you can do a little S, you can make a straight curve, do whatever you want, and do that onto the front pieces also. So guys, back to after sewing the back yoke onto the main back piece, I will just join the front along by half an inch there, kind of there where the shoulder is, and then I'll just join the sleeves onto the sides, then taking the sides also right from the sleeves, and then that will be like that.
2,000 years later.
So now guys, this is what I have so far. I just notch out these points like this so that I know where my sleeve midpoint will sit. So guys, I have to take up this measurement and cut out the bias piping that we will need to finish up the neckline. So guys, if please always go and confirm with your measurement there, but make sure that you remember that you have the button allowance also there. So this is the bias strip that I've cut. I cut it on bias, yes. It is 2 inches in width, and I just folded half an inch on either sides like that. And I'm also going to fold it again like this into 2 so that I use it to finish up the neckline. So I'll just sandwich my shirt in between this piece that I've cut and then top stitch all around up to the other side, and after there I'll just fold in my button allowances by 1 inch, double fold, and then as you see the shirt is here. I'll just press it down, and now we can start cutting the cuff. So the cuff is always, not the cuff guys, I'm sorry, the placket for the cuff, before the cuff, is always at the back part of the sleeve. So I'm getting the midpoint of the back part of the sleeve and then mark a line that is 3 inches long, and also on this line that's 3 inches long I have to join my placket pieces. They are 2, each is 2 inches in length. In width the length is about 4 inches, 5 inches. So I'm marking 2.5 inches, and I leave out half an inch there, and I cut up to 2.5 inches. Remember the line we marked was 3 inches. So I'm just going to get my placket pieces and join them onto the wrong side of my sleeve. So right side of the placket piece onto the wrong side of the sleeve, join by half an inch up to where the 3 inches ended on either sides like that. And after I'll just be showing you what else. So you do this even onto the other side. So this is it guys. So now I'm at the right side of the sleeve. Remember our cut stopped at 2.5 inches. So the half inch that remained, I'm going to cut diagonal lines onto where the stitch line stopped. Where we joined the placket pieces from, where the stitch line stopped at the 3 inches. I cut my 2 diagonal lines like that, and then I flip out my placket pieces. So guys, I'm going to fold in half an inch like this, then fold in also this allowance, and then fold this over like that so that I top stitch up to where the 3 inches also stopped on either sides. So this is what I have. So guys, now I have to choose which part I want on top. So after that, the one that is going to be down, I'll reduce its length just as I did on this one. This is already folded. So I'll just make one be down and the other on top, then the one on like below, I'll reduce its length and leave about half an inch or even 1 inch, and then even this one shouldn't be too long. I reduce it by just a little bit, half an inch. Then I make sure the one on top, I fold the one below inside the one on top like that, sit it down properly, and then I'll just top stitch on top by kind of a square with diagonal lines, or even only a square to tack it down like this one that I already finished. You can do diagonal lines, and that is it. You just have now to join your cuff around there. So for the cuffs, it is 3.5 inches in width. but it is folded into two. So you cut a piece that is 7 inches because you need half an inch for the joining, and it will be you know, on the wrong side. You just sew half an inch on either side so that you flip it onto the right side. Remember, it is on fold. You can even cut out the excess allowance and then flip it onto the right side like this so that you can attach it onto the sleeve. So guys, remember we have half an inch at the cuff here. We cut 7 inches. 3 inches is the cuff width and half an inch is the joining allowance. So I'm just going to fold the allowance, the half an inch allowance, on either sides of the cuff like this, just as you see, and then I'll just bring my shirt so that it is sandwiched, the sleeve, not the shirt guys, anyway, the sleeve of the shirt, it is sandwiched in between the cuff like this by half an inch. Top stitch all that part to the other side properly, and that will be all for both sleeves. I will do the same. So guys, after that I think I will just fold in my hemline half inch twice, and the shirt will be ready. It will be ready, you know, to be taken for the buttons. So guys, this is the finished shirt, already done. This is how the cuff came out. I just have to add a button there and another button on the other side of the sleeve there, and also the buttons at the front, I think they will be about 3 inches apart or 4 inches all along the center front there. So guys, that is it all about today's tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever I upload a new video. And guys, thank you so much. I'll see you soon.